Hello and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your source for the finest 2A propaganda brought to you by TNVC.com. Let's start off with some rumor control on the Glock AR. Guys, it's real! Kind of. A few days ago, Sean Odinson made a splash with a video showing photos of what appears to be a Glock branded AR pattern rifle. Naturally, this was met with a lot of skepticism.
Pull the other one!
We've seen plenty of this sort of thing before, but then there was that patent we reported on last year, and someone dug up an ATF import list that seemed to list some Glock carbine barrels, and there was all sorts of speculation all over the socials. Ultimately, Glock did confirm the images are real, but the rifle is for select solicitations, and it is not available for the general market at this time. The rifle in the photos is configured to compete for a contract with the British Army alongside Knights and LMT to replace the SA-80, which, by the way, is about time. That abomination should never have been issued to friendly troops.
You would have been discarded.
It's like someone explained a gun to a stapler engineer. It's so bad HK couldn't fix it. And it's somehow fitting that Eugene Stoner's, peace be upon him, design will replace it. But Knights and LMT are pretty stiff competition. They both have experience making fighting rifles for military contracts, and Glock has never made a single production rifle. I don't mean to suggest the AR-15 is some arcane sorcery.
The riddle of steel. Yes.
But it is a pretty significant challenge. If Glock wins the contract, could they eventually decide to make the rifle available here in the US? I mean, conceivably, yes, but it wouldn't be as obvious a move as you might think, because they'd have to contend with import restrictions if they used their Austrian tooling, and it would be enormously expensive to set up production of a whole new product in Smyrna, Georgia. What do you think? Will we live to see a Glock rifle?
So you bought some nods and now you're ready to rock, right? You knew you needed training to run that rifle like a Chad, so why should night vision be any different? TNVC.com is your source for the night fighter training you need to be effective.
Check out this Giga Chad who boldly affirms in his suit against the state of New York that he regularly violates New York's floor is lava statute, which declares practically everywhere to be too sensitive for constitutional rights. That's one way to guarantee you have no trouble withstanding. I mean, in court, that is. I'm sure he has significant trouble standing without a wheelbarrow to haul around his enormous nads. This man might just take one for the team. If he doesn't win, he could be arrested. Hell, he could be arrested right now. Right or wrong, he admitted to breaking the law in an official document. But regardless of what happens to Jason Frey, the state of New York cannot weasel out of a ruling. And we really need a ruling, because the control freaks just don't have the decency to accept that infringing on the right of the people to bear arms is unconstitutional. Just look at this doughy-faced pile of extra mild mayonnaise. He recently defended his vote for the new Floors Lava bill in a Reddit AMA, saying, if you're upset about the recent gross unconstitutional infringement, you can blame the Supreme Court for striking down the 111-year-old Jim Crow law that was working just fine to deny my constituents their God-given right to self-defense. Folks, these people aren't backing down. They know it is unconstitutional to deprive individuals of their right to be armed, and they immediately set about finding new ways to do so. The Supremes also vacated an earlier decision upholding the Massachusetts law prohibiting anyone with even a misdemeanor weapons charge from ever carrying a gun legally. This is one of those cases which really makes you wonder. Back in 2004, Dr. Alfred Morin was convicted of carrying a gun without a permit in Washington, D.C. That law was later found unconstitutional in the D.C. versus Heller opinion, but Dr. Morin's conviction remained, preventing him from getting a permit to carry or even buy a handgun in Massachusetts. If there was any justice in this world, Dr. Morin's fight would be over. But now the case goes back to the lower court to be decided with the new precedent. If there was any justice in this world, a state wouldn't try to deny you permission for a thing when your only crime was doing the thing without permission.
He was caught poaching in the king's forest. He dared to kill a king's dare.
dared to kill a king's deer.
Then again, if there were any justice in this world, free people wouldn't bother seeking the permission of autocrats. Before we get to your moment of Zen, I just want to remind you to check out the Bulletproof Workshop hosted by my friend and hero, Jeff Gonzalez. Jeff is a combat veteran, respected instructor, and genuinely one of the nicest people you will ever meet. The Bulletproof Workshop is about improving human performance and features guests from all walks of life. New episodes every Tuesday. Next week's guest is Goat Boy himself. If you're a member on ARFCOM, you already know Juan Avila is the co-founder and nuclear fuel running ARFCOM. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, AR-15.com is the world's biggest firearm community, and this is our YouTube channel. Juan founded ARFCOM back in 1996, and it has grown into one of the most useful repositories of firearm-related knowledge ever compiled. So definitely don't miss out on this one. Last week, Jeff chatted with Dwayne Liptak, Executive Vice President of Magpul, and that video's up right now. You can count on him to have someone interesting for every episode. As always, we'll link down there in the doobly-doo, so why not check out what Jeff's up to when you're finished here. And now, for your moment of Zen.
We'd like to express the importance of only using your firearm when your life is in absolute peril. That's why we familiarize our trainees with the most aggressive breeds as well as their commonly hostile stances.
Hey friend, do you like pews and pew-related things? Do you want to help us keep delivering you pure, uncut American pew propaganda at the low, low price of free $99? We literally couldn't make this show if it weren't for the generous support of TNVC.com, purveyors of the finest non-GMO night vision devices handcrafted from fine Corinthian leather in the old world style. They also have mounts, lights, training, swag, and all sorts of other grass-fed, cage-free gear to make you the bump in the night. And remember, if you aren't subscribed to our channel, you make puppies cry and Captain America's disappointed. I love you.